With strong ties to the land for the past 7 generations, the Zonin family heads the largest family-owned grape-growing and winemaking company in Italy and one of the most important wineries in Europe. In the historic headquarters in 1821, the Zonins, small-scale grape growers in Gambellara, near Venice, started to produce wines. Gianni Zonin, thanks to his ability to stay one step ahead of the market and consumer trends, turned the once small provincial business into a company whose wines have attained true worldwide recognition. I was very young when in 1957, my uncle Domenico asked me to come and work with him at Casa Vinicola Zonin. And after just 10 years, I was 29 at the time, he chose me to be president of the company. 3 years later, I began to expand our family's properties outside Veneto. Friuli was the first region where, at the beginning of the 1970s, Gianni Zonin identified a new terroir of excellence outside the Veneto. There he purchased the Ca' Bolani estate, a magnificent garden of vines in the Aquileia DOC zone, noted for the quality of its wines since Roman times. Ca' Bolani, with its 600 hectares of vines, is today the largest single vineyard in northern Italy. Piedmont is another magical area that has demonstrated how indigenous vines can produce world-class wines. The Castello del Poggio estate, with its magnificent natural amphitheater of 160 hectares of vines, produces aristocratic, modern, and character-full wines with inviting aromas. In nearby Lombardy lies the Il Bosco estate. This is the home of the legendary Pinot Nero grape, which is often also vinified as a sparkling wine with a second fermentation in bottle, in which this area boasts centuries of experience and tradition. From the north, our trip into the world of Zonin brings us to the Chianti Classico zone in the heart of Tuscany. We are at Castello d'Albola at Radda in Chianti. This Tuscan corner of paradise produces elegant wines of notable finesse. Castello d'Albola once belonged to Tuscany's most notable families. The castle and the land surrounding it were restored to their ancient splendor in 1979 by the Zonin family. In the heart of Tuscany's Maremma district, here is the Rocca di Montemasi estate, an iconic location that was the cradle of Etruscan civilization. The estate lies in the Maremma DOC zone, ensconced between the Tyrrhenian coast, the Mediterranean scrubland, and the metal-bearing hills, where the fragrances of the land mingle with the scents of the sea. A little further to the north, in the tower-strewn town of San Gimignano, one finds the Abbazia Monte Oliveto estate, dominated by the 14th century abbey built by Olivetan Benedictine monks. In western Sicily, the Feudo Principi di Butera estate is an outstanding vineyard, bathed in bright sunshine and the perfumed breezes from the nearby sea. The Zonin family immediately put their faith in Nero d'Avola, the major grape variety of Sicily. Now we are in Puglia, in the sun-drenched Salento Peninsula. Masseria Altemura is located in the Manduria DOC zone. Its favorable geographical position between two seas is characterized by delicate breezes and intense sunlight. In the 1970s, another gem was added to this chain of estates, Barboursville Vineyards in the state of Virginia, where Gianni Zonin has, 200 years later, realized the dream of American President Thomas Jefferson to produce high-quality wines on the Atlantic coast of the United States. Barboursville Vineyards has for some time now been the home of a refined Italian restaurant called Palladio and the historic cottage, the 1804 Inn, a much sought-after destination in which to relax among the vines. Today, the Zonin Company, with its 9,884 acres of properties, a turnover of 140 million euros a year, 70% exports, and an international distribution network in over 100 countries, is among the most important privately owned wine companies in Italy. Internationalization, ecological sustainability, and attention to social welfare are the guiding principles of its development, which has been reflected, amongst other things, in the prestigious prizes it has won both in Italy and abroad. But it is much more than that. It is a family. The biggest satisfaction of my life is to have my 3 sons involved in the company. This is not just a security for the continuity of our winery, but we can also think about further development of the company. It has to be and remain familiar, because the family is the guarantor and the guarantee for the customer and the consumer. Behind a company, it takes a family. And therefore, this is most important, and I believe in this philosophy. We're going to continue on this path.
Sicuramente su questa strada.